Hello students, in this lesson we are going to have revision on common vocabulary items in listening papers. And actually we are going to explore some vocabulary items that you saw in the listening paper during the second term examination. Let's start. In this lesson, we will have something about the meaning of vocabulary learning. Then, what you should learn when you learn a new English word. We are also covering 10 vocabulary items today. And of course, the worksheets. There are some basic things you should know about a new word. The first one, of course, is spelling, and then meaning, and yet pronunciation. I would like to talk a bit more about pronunciation. When you were a primary school student, it would have been great if you have learned something about the phonics. And now, as a secondary student, it would be even greater if you have paid attention in the lessons with Mr. Pajek or any other NET, and that you have some idea about the IBAs. And number four, parts of speech. That is, when you see this word activity, do you have any idea whether it is a noun, a pronoun, a verb, or an adjective? The first vocabulary item is community, and it is a noun. The meaning is the people living in a particular area. Example: her speech caused anger in the community. Example number two: there is a sense of community in this neighborhood. The first example is easy to understand, while the second one may take a bit more explaining. So here, a sense of community means that uh, you care about the well-being, okay, of those people who live around you. So that means everything you do in your everyday life, okay, you may take a look of the environment, whether the streets are cleaned, um, if all the lamps, the street lamps are working functionally well, okay, something like that, okay, that is a sense of community. Or if you note some neighbors are having some difficulties, okay, maybe the children um, lack care from their parents, okay, or maybe some of them have some financial or monetary difficulties, then you may give them some help, okay, without expecting any returns, something like that. That is what we called the sense of community. Okay, that's it for the first item, community. Next, number two, volunteers. And here we talk about volunteers as a noun. The meaning is that a person who does something willingly, especially helping others without being forced or paid. Example: the general asked for volunteers to take a very dangerous mission. Example 2: it is common for non-profit organizations to use volunteers in their operation. So, in other words, volunteers means people who who are willing to work and they do not expect any return in the end. Okay, these are the volunteers. You may see them helping with old people. Okay, or you may see them helping uh, to clean the beach. okay, to get uh, to get things clean, to make the environment clean, something like that. Okay, that is volunteers, or actually even donors. Okay, people who donate blood. Okay, um, to some extent, okay, they are volunteers. Next, number 3, lend a hand. So here, lend a hand, you see it is a verb, but actually there is only one verb, and that is L-E-N-D, lend. Okay, L-E-N-D, lend. So you may say, actually, lend a hand is a verb phrase, and the meaning is to help someone. Example, David lent me a hand by lending me money when I was poor. So to most students here, I think the most important meaning of learning this expression, lend a hand, okay, is that you do not always have to write the word help when you mean to help someone, okay, and it will certainly make your writing look better, okay, because you are able to express the same meaning in different ways. Next, number 4, influence. And here we see the word influence as a verb. The meaning is to affect or change how someone or something develops or thinks. The first example, she is good at making friends and influencing people. Example 2, think twice before you make friends with people who like to influence others. So here, influence, it is neutral. The meaning is neutral. Okay, if it is someone, okay, who likes to influence people, he or she may just want to help others people, to make others people think in smarter ways or live a smarter life, something like that. But it's not always good, or it is not always positive. And that's why you see in the second example, okay, um, sometimes you may need to be more careful when you are thinking about, okay, making friends with people who like to influence others. So that's it on influence. Next, number 5, offer. And here we see this word offer as a verb, and the meaning is to ask someone if they would like to have something. Example, I feel sorry that I did not offer them any food. So that means uh, if I did offer some people, some poor people, some food or any kind of material help, I will feel better about myself now. But I did not. Example 2, can I offer you a drink? So here, the second example, can I offer you a drink? It is a very common way of invitation, like in not maybe not in a restaurant, but possibly in a club or even in a bar to start a conversation with a stranger. Next, number 6, majority. It is a noun, and the meaning is the larger number or part of something. Example 1, a majority of people agree to wearing masks. But to be honest, these days, you should be very, very familiar with the idea of majority, at least in Chinese. Or even now, you see right in front of you the two pictures. Okay, on the two sides of the word majority, you can tell what the word means. All right. Next, number 7, respondents. It is a noun, and the meaning is a person or people who answer a request for information. Example 1, The survey invited over 500 respondents successfully. So it is not difficult. It is even easy to become a respondent in real life. Okay, whenever you walk on the streets, okay, you may see uh, people, okay, looking around, standing on the street, okay, to see if someone can uh, do a questionnaire for them, okay. Sometimes it's about environmental protection, sometimes it is just business, okay, and so it really depends, okay, unless you really have a lot of free time, okay, uh, you should be careful about it. So that's it. Next, number 8, executive. Here, when the meaning is different, the part of speech is also different. The first meaning, someone in a high position, especially in business. Here, executive is a noun. Example, he has been an executive for 2 years and usually leaves the company late. Meaning 2, related to making decisions and managing businesses. Here, executive is an adjective. Example, executive cars. So you may think it is a bit difficult because the spelling is all the same, the pronunciation is all the same. But how can you tell when you say this word executive, which meaning it is? So it means you actually have to read more or even do more, okay? Possibly after English lessons. Then, as you know more about, okay, how the English world use this word, you will become less worried about, okay, how to use this word executive. Next, number 9, social media. It is a noun, meaning websites that allow people to communicate and share information online. Example, social media are great online spaces for collecting people's opinions. Although this word social media may be new to some of you, but once you understand the Chinese meaning, I think you should be able to use it in no time. Of course, it's still possible that a number of you may be afraid uh, of making mistakes, okay, when you try to use this new noun phrase, okay, this new way of using or writing a new concept. But don't you worry, okay, just ask, okay? You see any English teacher, you ask your question. Next, number 10, implement. It is a verb, and the meaning is to start using a plan or system. Example, if you do not implement a plan, it will never be effective. So, some similar meaning can also be very precisely expressed in Chinese. So, for example, some people like to have meetings or discussion, okay, so at the end they have some great ideas, okay, that may try, but if they do not try it out, or it may actually to do something, okay, get their hands dirty to see how the plan or how the idea will work, all the discussion, okay, will just be for nothing in the end, okay. So that's it for all the 10 vocabulary items here today. And of course, we have the worksheets. And by now, okay, you should note what the worksheets look like. And in part A, Spend some time and take a look of the tips, especially those in Chinese, okay, and answer all the questions in part 8 correctly. And then in part B, okay, it is not about filling in the blanks anymore in part B, but instead you are going to reorder or rearrange, okay, a sentence in one question, okay. And actually, the targeted vocabulary items are in bold, so it should be easy for you to spot those items. Okay, I wish all of you will try your best and do your revision and remember these words. Okay, after completing these worksheets. Conclusion: vocabulary learning works only when you care about how to use a word and have revision regularly. Teachers might not always have revision on vocabulary items in lesson, so therefore you should try out different ways to help yourself remember all the new words. Of course, the best way to remember any new word is to use it when you write and speak in English. So that's all for the lesson today, and thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye.